Hello and welcome to Trout Talk here on Saga 960 AM. I'm Brendan Lang with Zach Bodenstein and Mikey K, Mike Karafalidis. Thanks for coming along on Trout Talk, guys. We're back at it again here on a Sunday afternoon. It's been a little bit since we talked. We've seen each other around the rink quite a bit here recently with them playing at home a lot, but how's everybody been doing? Zach, what's been going on with you?
You know, I'm always going to have the most boring answers with this stuff because it's been work, it's been, family time, it's been all the same stuff, but that's good. That's the routine I like. I like to keep busy. It's been great being at the rink a lot as well. You already mentioned that, a lot more home games. November, I kind of felt isolated. It was like the Mikey K show on the road every night. And I was like, when the heck are they going to be back at Paramount? So it's been nice to see them get some home cooking. We got a little bit of a break coming up with the World Juniors going on. So, let's cherish every day at the rink, boys. It's always a blessing.
Absolutely. Exactly. That's the thing. You know what? Treat every game like it's going to be your last, right? And that's what we're doing. We're having fun. And that's the thing, Zach. It's been Groundhog Day, man. Groundhog Day every day. So that's all I can say about that, Groundhog Day. We're getting ready for Christmas, winding up here. So looking forward to this game against the Ottawa 67. So it should be a good one. I'm really, really excited about this one.
Yeah, no, definitely looking forward to it. We'll talk about that a little later on in the show. But Zach, I think the last time we talked, I don't know if you had started on breakfast television yet, or if you had been on yet. So, kind of, what's the experience been like so far?
Yeah, it's been good. So the first time I went on, I mean, you get the bright lights, people putting makeup on you, like you're downtown Toronto for like 5 a.m. So it's a different experience, and it's been a good time. I would say, like, everybody's been really friendly and welcoming. So that's really all you can ask for when you're starting something new. There's also a lot of familiarity as well, because I've worked with a lot of the people who work there now. So that's really helped. But no egos. Everybody's very friendly, coming up to me, welcoming. So that's always been great. But yeah, it was a cool opportunity. I'm looking forward to, still growing with that team. It's been fun.
It's good to hear, man. It
Very
looks like
good.
it looks like a very exciting opportunity. And you said you're going to be working there too, whether you're on the air or doing some more writing stuff. So that's definitely a good thing. So we can kind of start talking here about the Steelheads. So they had obviously a busy weekend here, 3-3, starting things off, 2 losses, North Bay, Barrie, and then they ended up getting that last win of the weekend against the Niagara Ice Dogs. So we'll start with you, Mikey. We can start with that game against North Bay. Kind of just what did you see from them in that one?
Well, it was the first 10 minutes really that Steelheads didn't take control of. And it seems like to me, if the Steelheads don't come out in the first 10 minutes hard, then they're in trouble, right? And the penalty trouble got him into trouble as well. And, I know we sound like broken records. James Richmond talks about it as well. He talks about the discipline. They got into penalty trouble. North Bay capitalized on their opportunities on the power play, got out to that big 3-0 lead, right? And then after that, it was, the Steelheads fought back to make it a 3-3 game, which was awesome. A better 5-on-5 team, 100%, no doubt in my mind. If they weren't on the penalty kill, right? So just ended up losing that game. It was a hard fought game. I thought Charlie Robertson was absolutely phenomenal in goal for the North Bay Battalion. I mean, some of the stops he was making, we were like, whoa, like, wow, right? It's stretching out with his right pad. Little puck luck actually went his way too, and that's where you get, that happens with goaltenders, of course. And he played a great game, but. The Steelheads were the better 5-on-5 team, but they just ended up losing that game 5-3. So, it was just a hard fought game.
Yeah, you can't discredit what they did at even strength, because I think they were really strong. Charlie Robinson was good. He was swimming out of his net a little bit too much, and the Steelheads offense was really swarming. Unfortunately, just couldn't get those breaks, and ultimately those first 10 minutes, that's such a backbreaker, guys. I mean, you go down 3-0 early. They did battle back. They tied the game only to give up, to let North Bay get ahead just 26 seconds later. But give them credit for fighting back against a veteran team. And just the Petes, I mean, I look at the Petes and the battalion, and yes, both teams lost so many guys from those deep playoff runs, but they still have so many back, and phenomenal goaltending. So I credit Mississauga, because they're such a young team, and they're always facing a challenge when they're going up against a team like that. So again, overall, I would say, eliminate the first 10 minutes, which you can't do, and the Steelheads are in much better shape. I thought they actually played a pretty decent game after that, but the PK, I mean, it's been fine. It's just a matter of it's happening too often. You don't want to be on the penalty kill so often, but I don't think it's been bad at all. I think they've done a good job killing penalties. Just can't make a habit of getting into the box.
There's only so
No.
many times you could go inside of the cookie jar, right?
Yeah, that's literally exactly it. Like, I mean, your penalty kill can be as good as you want, but when you just give teams that many opportunities, it's bound to come back to bite you at some point. I think you guys said it perfectly where you have to credit them, especially being a young team, being able to fight back after coming out flat in the first 10 minutes. I mean, you can just say it how it was. Like, they didn't come out very strong. They had a little bit of time off there throughout the week. Then they get out there on Friday. You think they're going to be fresh. We're a little bit flat coming out, but they completely turned it around, played well, tied the game up, and then just couldn't quite close it out. So you do have to definitely credit them for that one. The next day, they were in Barrie. Now, that game was a little more of a heartbreaker. They had the lead for a lot of that one. So, Mikey, tough one there for Mississauga, just losing it at the end.
Yeah, it was a tight one. I mean, they're up 3-1, Steelheads, and really, keeping the crowd quiet. That was their teddy bear toss game, and then the wheels just kind of fell off. I mean, Barrie just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. Then it was 3-2, then 3-3. Then it went to overtime, and then 4-3. And it's just, it's one of those games that a young team is going to learn from, right? And it was heartbreaking, but things to learn from. Keep the pedal to the metal, number one, in my opinion. Keep the pedal to the metal. And just Sam Hillebrand again was absolutely phenomenal in that game as well. I mean, I think it was 45 shots that came his way or something. And I mean, he stopped, 42 out of 45, right? So again, he's just, the guy that has the Steelheads number. He stopped like 3 or 4 breakaways point blank. One on, I think it was Luke Misa, one on Vetcha, just to say a couple that, but he was good. But the Steelheads got to keep the pedal to the metal in those kind of games. And they'll learn. This is a learning game, and I'm sure they're going to be just fine after that one. And they were the next day, right?
That power play is looking good, though. I'll say that.
Oh, Martone was unbelievable.
The Missy power play is clicking, and I mean, it's they stack up that first unit, right? It's usually the 3 M's, as I like to call them: Misa, McEnroe, Martone, with Sharp and Phoebe, and they're clicking. They're clicking right now. They know where each other are. Constant motion, constant pressure. It's really tough to stop what they try to do on the power play. So nice to see that start to click. But James Richmond talked about puck management, right? You have a 2-goal lead in Barrie, and unfortunately, just I think he said 13 turnovers in the last 9 minutes of regulation, and then you give up a goal in overtime. And again, that's going to happen with a young team. We do sound like broken records, like you said, Mike. Like, this is just going to keep happening with a young team until they learn. And you have to go through it to learn. Now, they're still tied for first place in the Eastern Conference. As we say, they're trying to learn and find their way. So we got to give them some credit here. But
100%.
Things are going to happen. And so, again, it's not a loss you want. It's not a loss that we're going to look at and say it's a positive, because James Richmond hates that. He says no loss is a good loss. But it's a learning curve, and it's a learning experience at the end of the day. So sometimes you got to make those mistakes and clean things up for later.
I always love when we say that kind of stuff to James Richmond, and he goes, we're like, yeah, people always say to me, you can't go undefeated. Well, why not? Why can't you go undefeated? I was on a team that went undefeated. Why can't you go undefeated? that always gets me when we talk about that. But yeah, I mean, you're completely right. With a young team, that stuff's going to happen. So you just got to figure out a way to move on. And also, yes, Sam Hillebrand's had their number. The Barrie Colts have had their number this year. I mean, for a team that's sitting in 9th place right now in the Eastern Conference, I mean, the Steelheads have just had a tough time against them. And sometimes there's just those teams that are kind of your kryptonite. So obviously you're going to have to try to find a way to overcome that. But that was definitely just a tough loss there. And Barrie, and then like you said, Mikey, they came back and they played well the next day. Yes, they got outshot a little bit by the Ice Dogs, but they were, I would say, the better team in that game from start to finish.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, talk about that game against Niagara. Ryerson Leaders was absolutely phenomenal in that game, guys. I mean, at the end of the game, what was it? He stopped 44, 47 shots, I believe, in that game. 5-3. What a huge win. That was a huge bounce back game, especially against the heartbreak game against Barrie, right? But great goals, great movement again. Mac Donnell, 4 assists in that game, guys. And I mean, him and Martone with the teddy bear toss goal. Wow. I mean, and Misa as well. Like those guys, we just keep talking about. But Mac Donnell and Martone have been absolutely clicking lately. Absolutely clicking. And I mean, wow. It's just the way Mac Donnell carries himself too. Like, he's such a professional, right? I mean, when I interviewed him after the game, he's just kind of, he's just so calm and cool and collected. He never gets overkill. He never gets underkill. He's just even keel. You never know with him, right? So, but great game, great bounce back game.
Yeah, still a lot of penalties in that game, too many, more than you'd want. But my two takeaways from that game were they put Luke Misa and Angus McDonnell together. Luke was on the wing, a little bit of an adjustment for him, but he prefers to play the wing, apparently. He's really flourishing wherever he plays. So both of them were clicking, him and Angus. That was great. But Ryerson, what a bounce back game for him. I don't think he had his best game on Friday. Had a little bit of a tough time covering that short side against the battalion. So great to see him respond against Niagara. But you're right. I mean, 47 shots his way. He was busy all game, and a lot of that was power play. I think Ryan Robrick had 11 shots on goal. He's an impressive player. I mean,
Don't forget. Exactly. Like, don't forget the couple 5-on-3s that Niagara had in that third period, guys. And Leanders was absolutely phenomenal. Showing, I'm going to keep saying this, showing why he's a B rating for that 2023-2024 early NHL Central Scouting draft. So that's his rating. But man, he was good in those 5-on-3s. My goodness.
And one of them was for a minute 38. So the
right,
great.
Yeah. And you talk about the penalties, Zach. It's not just taking penalties, but taking them when there's like less than 10 minutes in the game in a game that you're trying to hold the lead. Like, that's definitely something that they want to clean up. And it's not only with Ryerson making like spectacular stops, but just making the big saves at the time that they need them, like that 5-on-3 that you're referencing there, coming up with a couple of big stops. There was a time where he had 3 or 4 shots coming directly at him. Lots of traffic in front. He saw through traffic really well in that game too against the Niagara Ice Dogs. And then we also Mikey, you mentioned it. We got to talk about the teddy bear toss goal by Porter Martone. Good to see him score that, and then his celebration, telling them to throw the bear. Similar celebration to what he always has. And then, Mikey, you were down there on the ice level. So, what was the feeling like down there?
Oh man, it was like Christmas time. Seriously, dude, I can't get that Christmas song out of my head with their playing too after the goal. But it was awesome. You saw the guys, getting into big smiles on their faces. You know that the teddy bear toss game is huge, right? And the teddy bears are going for a good cause too. For kids that can't afford it and stuff like that. Underprivileged kids but it was an awesome feeling on the ice. I interviewed Parker Von Richter. You guys remember, and I said, "Hey, you were my choice, but I'm sorry, whatever." But it was nice. And then I said to Porter Martone, "You weren't our choice, but you were our choice." I said, right. But they were all happy. It was a great atmosphere down there. It was unbelievable. See all the smiles on their faces, and it was great.
A friend texted me. He said, "How did none of you guys take Martone?" I said, "Dude, it's too obvious. You got to go a bit, a little bit off the grid with it." I mean, we all took good players. The Steelheads have a ton of good players, but who's gonna take? Like, what's the fun in taking the leading goal scorer on the team to score the goal?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Okay, Luke Misa, Angus McDonnell, or Porter Martone. No, we went with Von Richter. We went with Boudreau. And
I took Angus. To be fair, I took Angus.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Well, okay, well, whatever.
Maybe 4
1 out of 3.
one goal. I don't know.
Yeah, but that's okay. So you said the right answer, right? But if we wanted to go the answers that we thought, whatever. Anyway, yeah, Zach, I agree.
Yeah, and Mikey, you also had a bear, and you fired that thing.
You like that, huh?
Box. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I think you
made it to the ice.
Oh, he made it to the ice, all right. I thought he was going to go through the ice from how hard you threw that one. Like, I think you said it afterwards. Threw it like Nolan Ryan. It was an absolute laser.
Oh, yeah. 110 miles per hour. High leg kick. I even had the leg. No, I didn't have the leg kick. But if I had the leg kick, maybe I could have threw it to the bench. Can you imagine?
I think you could have gotten it there.
The longest throw in Teddy Bertot's history. Yeah.
that would have been it. That would have been it for sure. Yes. No, definitely a obviously great cause with the Teddy Bears and a great win for the Steelheads. So we'll take a break now. Coming up next, we're going to be talking to our special guest, rookie defenseman for the Mississauga Steelheads. I think you can probably figure out who it is, but we'll have him on the show after the break. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Trout Talk here on Sauga 960 AM. Hello and welcome back to Trout Talk here on Sauga 960 AM. Brendan Lang here alongside Zach Bodenstein and Mikey K, Mike Karafalides, three broadcasters for the Mississauga Steelheads here on Saga 960 AM. Thank you for coming along and tuning in to Trout Talk here today. And now we'll bring on our special guest, rookie Steelheads defenseman Luke Dragusica. Luke, thank you so much for coming on. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you guys for having me.
Well, yes, thank you for being here. So just kind of to start things off, just wanted to ask you how the transition's been so far getting in here into your first OHL season.
Well, it's definitely a change. It's so much fun over here in Mississauga. We got such a great group of guys.
Luke, I'm wondering who's helped you transition into junior. I mean, this is a huge transition, like you said, but it seems like guys have made it easy on you.
Yeah, definitely. My billet brother, Parker Von Richter, he's been a big help to me throughout training camp and just showing me the ways.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, you guys played together, right? And back in the Toronto Marlies. You know what's astonishing to me? You've always been a plus. Always been a plus back there in defense. You've never been a minus. Like in 2022, 23, I'm looking with the Toronto Marlies, never a minus.
Yeah.
This year, you're a +9. Like, I mean, you take so much pride back there in defense. You've been playing so well and just getting better and better. So, I mean, working with Parker, billeting with Parker, who else has helped you along the way besides Parker?
I'd say our captain, Chad Sharp, as well, Stevie Lescavar, a lot of guys on D. They just help me out and show me, like, good little tips.
We actually had Stevie Lescavar on last week, and we were talking about that. You guys are kind of similar players, very big guys, physical players. So he was saying how he's tried to bring you along a little bit. I wanted to ask you about being drafted. I remember when I was doing some prep before the season, and I saw a video of you talking about what it would be like when you do get drafted to the OHL. So what was that like when you heard your name called?
Well, I had all my family there, and when Mississauga picked me at 40, we all just started screaming and going crazy. Then I called JR like 2 minutes later. He's like, you want to come down to the rink right now? I was like, I can't, JR. I got all my family here. So then I just went down in the morning.
That's awesome.
And what's so cool, Luke, is that you're playing close to home. So that's got to be cool for you. Talk about some of the advantages that you have playing close to home.
Yeah, well, mostly every weekend I take the GO train home to go see my mom, my dad, my grandparents, my girlfriend. It's pretty easy. It's only a $12 GO train ride.
From here to Stony Creek, right?
Yeah, well, I take, where Aldershot is in Burlington?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I go there and then I usually get picked up.
So, Luke, are you familiar with Ivan Drago?
I've heard of the movies. Actually, I've been to Philadelphia, like where his statue is. Or is that Rocky? I don't know.
Yeah, when he fought, remember
like
the Russian guy that fought Rocky and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. You, sir, are the spitting image of Ivan Drago, just so you know.
I've heard that one before.
Have you? Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm not the only one. I didn't think so. But the way you walk around, the way you carry yourself, I mean, you're all business, man. You're all business. So I want to know about what you do in your workout routine, because you just seems like to me you're getting bigger, man. So I got to know.
High intensity. I work really hard in the gym. I try to eat as well as I can. I'm trying to put on a little bit of weight, but that'll come as the time goes by.
We were talking to JR before the last game, and he was saying, especially for the young players, it's almost more important to get in the gym than it is to be on the ice, and said that's kind of a different feel than what it is in minor hockey. So has that been an adjustment for you, or have you always been a guy that's in the gym a lot?
Yeah, definitely. I'm not the most dominant guy on the ice anymore like I used to be. Everyone's strong.
I don't know, man. Look pretty dominant out there. Sorry, Zach. Looks pretty dominant out there to me.
Listen, he's holding his own for an 07 on the blue line. We could say that. I mean, that's not an easy test for you. What are some of the challenges? I mean, this is a pretty typical question. The OHL is really good hockey. How have you felt? It so much harder?
Mostly because every player is good on every single team. Guys make the right plays at the right time. You have to be much sharper, much faster, but not rushing yourself at the same time.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think you're really holding your own as an 07 back there. I'll tell you that right now. One thing that I've been impressed with you, you're not afraid. You're not afraid to mix it up, even as an 07, whatever. You see some 07s kind of back up a little bit. No, not you. not you. You're right in there and getting into it, right? So that's impressive for me. But
Thank you.
yeah, of course. But growing up in Stony Creek, of course, I'm impressed with that because that's pretty much where I grew up. What high school did you go to in Stony Creek? Just curious.
I went to Cardinal Newman
Oh
on
yes, that's
Grace
right.
Road.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes. A Cardinal. You gotta like
yeah.
that. All right. Was anybody in at Newman, one of the teachers or anything? I kind of know some of the teachers there, but any of the teachers that brought you along that you'll never forget, kind of thing. Like made you into a man. I consider you a man right now. So
Not really, to be honest. I wasn't really too cool with the teachers. I kind of just did my thing and got the hell out of there.
That's a good answer.
Yeah, that is a good answer. Do you have like a favorite subject? Maybe not a teacher, but something that you enjoyed doing?
Probably gym class, like
Yeah.
Who
every
cares
other
about the
hockey
teachers? I
kids.
could care less.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Whatever.
was usually my favorite class as well.
Geography and history too, for sure.
Ah,
Ah,
okay.
okay. All right.
It's a good
Geography
one.
and
Yeah.
history. Mhm.
It's good to hear.
Yeah.
Good to hear that you're hitting the books, Luke. We heard that you are of Croatian descent. Is that correct, Luke?
Luke.
Yeah, sorry, I got you legged out for a second.
Oh, no problem. So you're Croatian, correct?
Yes, of course.
Okay. So tell us. I mean, personally, I don't know anything about Croatian culture. Tell us a little bit about the food, the lifestyle. What's it like to be Croatian?
I've come from a very Catholic Croatian background. My great grandma, also known as my Bubba, she's 90 years old, still around. She actually yesterday she cooked our family like a big Croatian dinner for Christmas. So it's like a tradition. She cooks for like our whole family every holiday. So
I have another.
Cooking at 90, guys. That's impressive.
yeah,
Absolutely.
she just turned 89.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey. That's a European thing. I'll tell you
Yeah,
something right now.
they're all healthy.
Yeah, right. But they tell you, my late grandmother, she lived to 90, what is she? I don't even 93, right? Whatever.
Yeah, wow.
And she was, and she used to cook the same way. I'm just saying. So Luke and I would kind of have the same kind of thing. You tell them to stop. No. They keep going. They keep going. No.
They know when to
more,
stop.
more. Yeah, exactly. My question is, Zach mentioned, Stevie Leskovar, he's Croatian as well.
Yes.
You're Croatian. Stevie Leskovar was saying last time on Trout Talk that you guys kind of say some Croatian words back and forth, right?
Yeah.
So do you guys ever talk like that on the ice, just for kind of like mess with the other team, just kind of look at each other and Team Croatia going on out here?
I only know how are you and good.
Isn't it dobro means good?
Yeah.
Right?
Kako
si dobro. And I know a bad word, I don't want to say it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I think we're probably thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
So you said the dinner that's being cooked, like what is it? What's kind of we talk about food again. I say this all the time. We talk about food all the time on here, but what's kind of that main dish that your grandma's cooking for the Christmas dinner?
Well, she's very famous for sarma. Those are like Croatian cabbages. So good. Chavapi, schnitzels, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Ooh, chavapi.
Amazing.
Yeah. She makes the good stuff.
Oh.
Have you found like a good Croatian spot, like a good restaurant where you could get authentic Croatian food in the GTA yet?
No, usually it's just shawarmas.
Shawarma. What do you put in your shawarma?
I do on the rocks, extra garlic sauce, no spice.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Nice, eh?
Yes.
Maybe
yes.
on the sticks, depending on how I'm feeling.
There you go. That's all you need
to put on that weight, Luke.
Yeah.
Love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, on the rocks is one of my favorite things. I get it all the time. It's one of the best things. I wanted to ask kind of just more on the hockey side of things, and we've talked about it with a lot of young players on this team. How has the travel been? Obviously, it's really different from playing in minor hockey. So what's that kind of adjustment period been like?
I honestly love the bus rides with the boys. I'm not going to lie. They're fun.
So what goes on? Like, is there card games? Like, what's happening in the bus?
A lot of music and yelling.
Yeah.
Mikey knows.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you guys tried to get me to sing, what do you call it? Karaoke. You remember that?
I wasn't there for that trip. I was
Oh,
sick.
you weren't there. Yeah.
That was in North Bay, right?
No, that was on the way home from Flint.
Oh, okay. Oh, I don't remember that then.
Yeah. Well, whatever. One of those. Yeah. And I said no. No, throat's hurting.
I'm
But
sick.
no,
I
you
can't.
guys certainly, exactly. Yeah, but you guys certainly have a lot of fun on the bus. Sorry, Zach.
Yeah.
I keep, I just love that Canada shirt there.
No, yeah, right. Just in time for the World Juniors. There we
Yes,
go.
yeah, I love it. Love it.
Luke, what's your music of choice? What are you listening to on your free time?
I listen to a lot of Jay-Z and Nas, like old school rap.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
I like that.
yeah.
That's an answer we haven't got before yet, guys.
It isn't.
Really?
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, I most of the time, like a lot of people have said country music. Like that's like kind of the you're not into it? No, that's
No,
not
not at
No.
all. Don't even know one country song.
Luke, what are your goals, man? What are your goals?
Well, my ultimate life goal would to make the NHL.
Okay. Who do you want to play for?
Doesn't matter. I just got to make it there. It doesn't matter where I go.
Are you a Leaf fan?
I'm a Bruins fan, actually.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're a Bruins fan, like what was a player that you kind of admired growing up?
Zdeno Chara.
Okay.
Of course.
I could say, you're the next Zdeno Chara.
Not quite. I'm only 6'1", guys.
You're still growing, man.
Yeah, hey, you got some time. You got some time.
Oh,
Yeah.
Luke, how cool is it that you're a Bruin fan and technically you should be or could be playing against Matt Poitras? Like, how cool is that?
Well, I played against him in preseason. He's a really good player. Putting up those numbers in the NHL as well, that's crazy.
Yeah. Who are some of the other tough guys around the? I mean, you haven't played everybody yet, but who are some of the tough guys that you've found to play against so far?
Definitely Rakoff on Kitchener. He's scoring at like a goal per game pace right now. That's just ridiculous. Who did we play recently? I thought Pinelli, great goal scorer as well. He actually scored 2 against us when we played him, I'm pretty sure.
Luke, did you know any of those Stony Creek boys like Pinelli or any of those guys?
Oh yeah. They went to Newman too.
They're all Newman book guys. Okay. Do you keep in contact with them? Or no? Just
I'm
kind of on the side?
not really close with them, but like we have like good mutual friends.
That's amazing. See,
Yeah.
That's the Stony Creek thing. Everybody's all together. Just so
Stony
that everybody
Creek
knows.
connection.
These Toronto guys over here, Luke. But anyway, it's okay.
Yeah. We don't know what it's like. Zach asked you about players that have been tough to play against. What's like one team that when you're on the ice you can feel like there's just a different intensity, kind of a different rivalry? Again, you haven't played everybody, but from what you've seen so far.
Ooh, I'd say London was a tough game to play in, especially in their arena. That was probably one of the coolest experiences I've had so far. Playing in Ottawa, they're a tough team to play against. And obviously Kitchener, top dog right now in the league.
What about on your own team? I mean, this is a Steelheads show at the end of the day. Let's talk about some of the guys who have really caught your eye from day one, and you've been like, holy cow, how are they this good?
Yeah, I think Misa's speed blew me away when I first came into training camp. I was like, wow, that's OHL speed. That's next level speed. Obviously, Martone. I thought Zabeski's one of the hardest guys to train against in practice.
Yeah, because he just works and
he's
works
a
and
hard
works.
worker.
Yeah. So, all right. So we're going to ask you this so far. I mean, you've been to a lot of the OHL rinks and whatnot. So what's your favorite rink? Probably London, I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Right? Your favorite rink would probably be London. Your least favorite rink to play in right now?
My least favorite rink?
I think I know where this is going. I think.
I don't know. I didn't like going silent that much. It's not that nice.
What about Sudbury? Did you have fun in Sudbury?
I wasn't in Sudbury. I was sick for the North Bay Sudbury trip.
Yeah. So Owen Sound would be up there. Okay.
Yeah.
Junior
B rank.
Yeah, it's small. Wait till you get to Brantford.
I haven't been there yet. Too bad they didn't stay in Hamilton. I would have loved to play there.
Yeah.
No, it would have been wild, right? Especially at the First Ontario Center, you would have been able to probably have like 1,000 of your family and friends there, and
Yeah,
everybody, all the Croatian community and whatnot. I'm just saying, right? So,
of course.
yeah, that would have been awesome. It would have been great.
Yeah.
And do you get a lot of family and friends out to the games in Mississauga? Like, do they come out very often?
Oh yeah, they love to come.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, my dad and my grandpa come to like every game.
That's awesome.
Love to meet them sometime. That would
Yeah,
be
for sure.
Met your dad once. He's a big man. Big man. He's a big fan of the podcast too.
Yeah, he watches the podcast all the time in the truck.
Yes. He said, hey, it's kind of funny. He goes, hey, Mike. I go, hey, yeah, hey, how's it going? Whatever, right? And he goes, hey, the Trout Talk. I said, yeah. And then, he's introduced me to your father and stuff like that. So, guys, big fan of the podcast, and Luke Dragusica's father, and he's a big guy too. So if you end up being as big as your dad, my goodness me. So I think you might be bigger. Actually, you're gonna end up being bigger than your father.
I don't know about weight wise, maybe not.
What has he taught you? What has he taught you in life?
He's taught me how to be a man.
Love it.
Yeah, I love him.
Good boy. That's it.
That's great. Luke, did you ever go to, you grew up in Stony Creek. Did you go to Hamilton games growing up? Like, did you get to see the OHL firsthand from the stands? Were you in the crowd a lot?
Yeah, when they won the OHL, I went to Game 7 against Windsor, I believe. That was a really crazy experience. It was like an NHL game because I got like the upper deck too, and it was just packed.
Mm-hmm.
And now like half that team's in the NHL right now. It's crazy, or at least working the way there.
Yeah, that was a great team.
Yeah, I was actually at that Game 7 against Windsor as well, sitting in the crowd.
Oh yeah,
yeah, it was a great game. The atmosphere in that rink, like you were saying, it would have been cool if you were able to play in that one. One more kind of hockey question from me. Last game was the first game of the year that you'd been healthy scratching it. I mean, as a rookie, played pretty much every game. You had a little bit of injury, you were sick there a little bit, but you got to watch from sort of a different perspective. So what can you take from that and moving forward?
Well, I guess watching from a third person, you can see like what's going to happen and when it's going to happen, and you can kind of predict more. But I realized that I just had more white ice just to make better plays.
Yeah, you're I mean, the way you're moving the puck right now, you're making the smart decision. I want to talk to you about your goal actually your assist on Saturday on Vecchia's goal. You knew exactly where Vecchia was, didn't you? You threw that right behind the net. Vecchia was right there, boom, boom, in the goal, right?
Yeah, I wasn't even aiming for the net.
It was perfect, absolutely perfect. I said on the broadcast, he knew exactly what he was doing.
Yeah.
Anyway, great.
All right.
Well, Luke, thank you so much for coming on here today, and keep up the great work, man. You're doing a really good job, and continue success, man. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you guys so much for having me. Have a good night.
All right, Luke. Have a good one, buddy.
See you guys.
See you later.
That was Luke Dragusica, rookie defenseman here for the Mississauga Steelheads. We'll be back right after the break to wrap things up and talk about a few other things that are going on in the OHL. Thank you for coming along. You're listening to Trout Talk here on Saga 960 AM. And welcome back to Trout Talk here on Saga 960 AM. Thanks for coming along with me, Brendan Lang, Zach Bodenstein, and Mikey K, Mike Karafalidis. Guys, just spoke to Steelheads rookie defenseman Luke Dragusica. Good chat with him. Just great to kind of see the budding, I almost want to say star. I mean, he's playing, of course, in the bottom pair right now with Parker Von Richter, just kind of getting his feet wet in the OHL. But you hear the confidence that he talks with, and you also like to hear that he has some guys that are helping him along in Parker Von Richter, who he plays with. You heard him mention Chaz Sharp, and you heard him mention Stevie Leskovar. So a lot of guys that have kind of helped him with this transition into the OHL.
It's a great culture in Mississauga, so not surprising that guys are taking him under his wing. And Luke plays such a good two-way game, and oftentimes we really do forget that he's an 07, and JR will say it often. Well, he's an 07, so but we don't really think of him like that. We kind of hold him to the same standard that we hold any player on that team to, and the same goes for Porter Martone, right? We talk about guys who are so young, but it doesn't really seem like it because they play beyond their years. So really, really impressed with what Luke Dragusica has done this year. I think it's only a matter of time before he does take that next step. But for the time being, this team needs a steady left-handed defenseman on that third pair behind Stevie Leskovar and, Jakob Fibiger. So I'm super happy with what Dragusica has done, and it's been great to talk to him. Great to hear his dad is a fan of the podcast. That's awesome. So haven't met him yet, but I know I'm already off on the right foot. So very nice to hear that Mr. Dragusica approves.
Yeah, I mean, I think what's impressive the most is what impressed me with this guy is with Luke is he's always been a plus. I know I said that before when we were interviewing him. With the Marlies, always been a plus, never been a minus, right? Don't forget that, guys. So, and he's a +9 already this season, or +7. Let me look that up. Excuse me for a second. So hold on, he's a plus so far. Yes, he's a +9 so far. Okay, for a rookie, impressive. That impresses me the most. And another thing that's impressive, you got to like the Steelheads staff for drafting this guy because they knew that him and Parker Von Richter, don't forget, they played together with the Marlies, right? And now he's billeting with Von Richter and playing with Von Richter. I mean, that's huge. That's huge. And he's getting more mature by the game as well, getting more mature as a person. He's a rookie. Of course, he's going to have his it's going to have things that are going to happen, of course, as a rookie, but he's getting better by the game.
Yeah, no, you're completely right. And Zach, too, I like that you mentioned that he does bring that two-way game. I feel like also you think of him more just as a physical, tough, defensive defenseman. But I mean, he's got 5 points, hasn't scored yet, but he's got 5 assists. Like you were saying, Mikey, that great assist on Xander Vecchia goal. Like, obviously, he has some offensive skills that are going to be able to grow. I mean, you look at a guy like Chaz Sharp. I mean, somebody who came into the league as a big physical guy, long reach like Dragusica, played on the defensive side. And now look at him in his overreach. You're playing on the offensive side of the puck. So I definitely think that there's that two-way element to the game that Dragusica brings. All right, so that was great to talk to him. Now, guys, want to move on to the latest OHL power rankings. Got some different teams around there. We got the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds up there in first place, and Mississauga sitting in sixth place, down 1 from the last update. Mikey, what do you think about this latest release?
I don't get the power rankings, whatever. Like, really, I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's nice to see. I mean, do I agree with them sometimes? No, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that says that. Yeah. But hey, I mean, it's nice to be up there, and Steelheads have always been in the top 7 all year long, right? Do I agree with some of them? No, but I don't know. It's the power rankings. I don't know. I don't agree with it. Whatever. It's all good. It's nice to see, though. I think it's cool, but whatever.
Even the CHL top 10, it had Saginaw, it had Kitchener. I believe the Sioux was in there as well. So a lot of West heavy teams. And we were talking, I think it was after the game on Sunday against the Ice Dogs. We were all talking and saying, guys, the East is wide open. The West is a powerhouse. It's a gong show. But the East, I mean, couple stingy moves and one team can kind of pull ahead of the gap. And I think, any of those teams can do it if they're willing to get aggressive enough. There are teams that might want to unload, Mikey. I think there are opportunities there if somebody wants to pounce. I'm not saying Mississauga would or should or will, but somebody could. And I think that's going to ultimately put them above everybody else.
Kingston just made a trade.
Yeah. Right. Well, we'll definitely mention that here in a moment. But like you're saying, that's why with this Mississauga team, they're so good this year, and the East is wide open. You think like this is really the time to push forward and really try to go for it. I know this team's obviously set up for a couple years down the road, but because of the way they're playing right now and the fact that we don't really know who's going to be really going for it in the Eastern Conference. Like you think about a team like Peterborough, are they going to really go for it? Or are they going to sell off some pieces? Like there's a lot of stuff that's going on there. Ottawa's always good, but again, there's not like a powerhouse team in the Eastern Conference. So it's kind of, like you said, wide open. Mikey, you just mentioned the trade. So that's Thomas Budnick. That just happened today, going to Guelph, and then Roman Schmidt coming from Kitchener to Kingston. So anything catch your eye in those two moves?
Yeah, I mean, to me, Roman Schmidt, wow, he's pretty good back there. He's a great defenseman, a guy that just came back from the AHL. They had him Kitchener. Then they also had Machar as well. So you thought, wow, what a team! They just traded off Hamara to the Brantford Bulldogs, but surprising. Kingston's a team I think maybe it might be semi all in. They've made some trades so far, guys. What do I think about that trade? Good deal for Kingston, picking him up. What do I think about that trade for Kitchener? I think they're going to take those 2 picks, and I think they're going to flip them. I think they're going to get get somebody else. So, I mean, a team that's sitting right now in second in the CHL top 10. Wow, that's unbelievable for a team apparently that was rebuilding.
Yeah, Jeff
Kirzakos, right?
telling us before the season we're going to rebuild. No, they're just like second in the CHL ranking.
Oh yeah.
But I was surprised that they traded Hamara away. That one shocked me a little bit. But at the end of the day, it's about how do you use the picks you got to improve your team, see what the final result is. What's so funny with Kingston is they did exactly what they did with the Owen Outwater trade. Remember, they traded away Outwater for a pick and then got another forward with the exact same pick. They just did it again, guys. It was literally a 2 and a 3 that they got in this deal, and then they traded another one. They traded away the 2 and the 3 to get Schmidt. So it was essentially straight up 1-for-1, Schmidt and Budnick, and ultimately just who's the better player, who's the better fit. That's what it comes down to. I find that so funny that Kingston literally did the same thing again.
Yeah, kind of like you said. I mean, just something so similar. Obviously, that's kind of the way they like to deal things over there in Kingston. Don't have too much time, so before we get to some live tips, don't know if we have too much going on in that regard, but we want to talk about the game coming up here against the Ottawa 67s. Right now, they're tied at the top of the Eastern Conference. That's coming up right after Trout Talk. So, what are you guys looking forward to in this one?
Oh, it's going to be again, both teams know exactly what's at stake here because I just talked about how wide open the Eastern Conference is. Who wants to separate themselves? This is a statement game for both teams. Mikey, they played back in Ottawa. Was not the prettiest outing for the Steelheads. They have some redemption in the back of their minds right now, I think, and they definitely have to prove it now. Ottawa is a really good team. You look at some of their top players, and a lot of them have been drafted, a lot of them part of NHL properties. They are more experienced than the Steelheads, which is pretty much could be said for any other team in the OHL. And to me, this is a statement game. You know, how do you measure up with the other best team? It didn't go your way the first time. How's the second time going to go?
Exactly. Statement game, 100%. They need to show the 67s. They haven't beaten them yet this year. They didn't beat them last year. Don't forget, guys. They didn't beat them last year as well. They need to shut down Luca Pinelli. They need to shut down Stonehouse. Stonehouse has been a Mississauga Steelhead killer, him and Luca Pinelli. They need to stop them. They need to get that forecheck going hard on that defense right away, right? And get some traffic in front of Donoso. A lot of easy saves he had last time against the Mississauga Steelheads when they played in Ottawa. Remember what James Richmond said? It's not the quantity of shots, it's the quality of shots. Get some good quality shots on him. Most likely going to start. We're not sure yet against or might be Colin McKenzie, whatever. Probably Donoso, right? Get some good shots on him. Get some traffic in front of him. Go hard against these guys. 60 minutes. Statement game, redemption coming up.
Woo!
Right. That absolutely fired me up. Like, I'm ready to go out and play now.
There
that
you go.
was like,
see? Yes.
I think you need to go into the dressing room before the game and tell them
Yeah.
Maybe coaching in Mikey.
Yeah, coaching. Yeah.
I used to. Well, I coached basketball when I was younger. So yeah, the worst thing I did was I kicked the garbage can when I was mad. That's what hey, they came out hard in the second half. I mean, well, how can we be losing to these guys? And all of a sudden they came out hard. That was a long time ago.
Sometimes
I'll fill you guys into that story another time. Yeah.
Sure. You know, sometimes you just need that little bit of an energy boost. But no, it's a big game. Obviously, they went into Ottawa. Ottawa played well at home, so now it's the Steelheads' turn to play well at home and protect their home ice. So that definitely will be a good one coming up here after Trout Talk. We got about a minute left here. Anything in the way of life tips here that we can quickly get in before we send it off?
Yeah, I think I'm turning into an Irishman. Nobody knows what that means. Okay. Well, I'm eating a lot of potatoes lately. They like potatoes, right?
Yes,
Irish people, they love their potatoes. They love the potato pancakes, all that kind of stuff. Potatoes are good. Zach, are potatoes good to eat a lot?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so that's my the life tip is eat lots of potatoes.
That's a good one. So
Mikey's gonna like this one. You know what food I've been hooked on lately? Like I cannot stop eating feta cheese. I cannot stop eating feta cheese. It's so scientifically, it's a really good casein protein. So I'll eat it before bed, digest slowly. It keeps me in what's called an anabolic state, building muscle, but it just tastes so damn good. I could eat the thing just straight. It's insane. I hated it growing up, but the last like year, and especially the last week or so, I've been hooked on feta cheese.
Yes. Okay.
Feta
the best
cheese
to get. The best. Sorry, Brendan.
No, I'm just gonna say
the best cheese to get is get the Dodoni. It's called. That's all I have to say.
Okay.
Go ahead, Brendan.
Okay, I'm a huge cheese fan in general.
Cheese.
I like all cheeses, but feta cheese especially. Like, I mean, I'll eat it by itself, but if you have a salad and you put it on the salad, I'm definitely into that as well.
Oh,
That is the absolute best.
That's
Good
it.
life tips. Hey, I always say it. We talk about food a lot on this show, but that's where we're gonna get.
And be kind. And be kind.
Hey, potatoes, feta cheese, and be kind. That's what we got for Trout Talk here today. All right, thank you so much for coming along with us here on Saga 960 AM. I'm Brendan Lang with Zach Bodenstein and Mikey K. Enjoy the game coming up next. You're listening to Trout Talk here on Saga 960 AM. Have a great day.